Well, hello folks, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail, and we're going to have a wee look here at a potter at work. Sir, what's your name?
My name is Malcolm Murchison.
And how long have you been doing this?
Since about 1975.
My goodness, and where did you learn it?
I studied at Art College and graduated in 1980 in Belfast.
Very good. And is there many potters in Northern Ireland?
There's quite a lot. There's a lot of
that right?
really good potters actually.
My goodness.
So it's becoming increasingly popular as a process, and people are interested in buying handmade goods rather than buying stuff from Tesco's or
Yes.
Amazon.
It's that personal touch.
Something about a handmade thing. I think it actually feels nicer to use.
Yeah.
It's more engaging.
And what do you call this wee place here then?
This is the Boathouse Gallery,
The Boathouse Gallery.
particularly because there's a boat hanging over your head.
Yes, I see that.
Which is quite a famous boat. It was stored in a fishing shed just along the coast, and it was a racing Grantham. It was used purely for racing. At the end of the fishing season, the fishermen would have had races with fishermen from Donegal.
Yes.
Crowds up to 10,000 people would have gathered, and they would have put bets on which boat was going to win.
My goodness.
And this was a winning boat.
And so this boat here, what do you know what you call
It's
it?
called the Arrow.
What is indeed? Oh, no, that's
From Port Moon. It says Port
Port
Moon
Moon,
on one side
yes.
and the Arrow on the other.
On the hour, I'll have to have a wee drink at that. So it does, you're right indeed. So this is a winning boat then?
It is.
Very good. So do you want to show us the process then
Yes,
of...
I'm about to throw a pot here, so I've got a lump of clay on the wheel, and I'm going to put lots of water on and start centering the clay, which is done by applying pressure on the side with one hand and on the top with my other hand, and I keep adding water. The wheel is controlled with a pedal, foot pedal.
And what do you add the water for?
Well, it allows it to slip through the clay, to slide through your hands. It's like a lubricant on the clay.
Yes.
Sometimes it's called slip. So this lump of clay is nearly centered. You can see it's spinning, hopefully without any wobbles. And the next stage is to make a hole in the middle of the clay, and I do that by pressing two fingers in, and I rest my arms on my legs or the tray of the wheel. This is a good lesson for anyone having a go. It's not that difficult, but you do need to practice. But there's lots of technique that make it easier.
Yes, because I see some on TV when they're practicing and the clay is every shape when they're learning. But yours isn't every shape.
Well, hopefully not, but it can happen. We should make a much more entertaining film.
Hopefully not today.
So pots are inclined to get S-shaped cracks at the bottom of them. So to avoid that, you apply pressure to the clay at the bottom, backwards and forwards. So you see my fingers pressing down, going backwards and forwards
Yes.
to prevent that. And then I'm doing what's so-called the actual throwing up, the lifting. I'm squeezing the clay from the inside and from the outside at the same time and lifting up. And at this stage, the wheel is slowing down a little. It starts fast.
So with the lifting then, does that affect the height
Yes.
of the pot that you're making?
So you bring it up in a few different pulls.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you can see the clay being lifted up there.
So it lifts up in a spiral, and I can make the shape become narrower by what's called collaring.
By pressing in on it.
Yeah. Everything is done with slow, careful movements.
Yes. That's incredible.
Now, I've got a little build-up of water inside the pot, and I've got to get rid of that by using a sponge on a stick.
And so the wheel turning there, how does that, did you say that wheel keeps turning?
Well, it's a bit like the accelerator in your car.
Uh-huh.
I've got a pedal here.
Oh, so you're pushing down on the pedal?
the harder I press the pedal, the faster the wheel goes.
Yes.
But you got to watch it because it can suddenly turn into a plate if you're not careful.
And fly all over the place. It's starting to take more shape now, like a vase.
So I'm just going to trim a little bit of clay from the bottom here. Makes it a very unpleasant noise. And I'm going to use a rib, which can be made from wood or plastic. I'm just going to use a sponge to tidy up the clay at the top. And kind of undercut of the pot, and then get the piece of wire.
Now, what's this here for?
And this cuts the clay off the wheel, so
Oh, yes.
turning slowly, I draw the wire right through it like that.
Very
And I'm
good.
throwing on ceramic tiles here, which is great because I can lift them off without touching the pot.
Brilliant. And so these are ones you've made earlier.
Yeah, and put
Fantastic.
another tile in place, and repeat.
And so, how does that go from this to this?
Well,
That I see on your desk.
there's somebody said that every pot is handled 20 times in its manufacturing.
Uh-huh.
I haven't counted it up myself, but it's probably something like that. So it's, first of all, it has to dry out till it's leather hard.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it goes back on the wheel to be trimmed or to have handles stuck on,
Yes.
depending on what you're making. And then it has to dry until it's bone dry, and then when it's bone dry, it goes into the kiln for its first firing, which turns it into the material a bit like flower pot.
Yes.
Fired to 1,000 degrees centigrade, which is a bright orange hot, and it's changed then from clay into pottery. It's irreversible chemical change, at that stage, then once it's cooled, it comes out of the kiln. I paint wax on the bottom of the pot to stop glaze sticking to it, and then the piece is dipped in glaze, and glaze you could think of a bit like a ground glass, powdered glass mixed with water to custard-like consistency, and the pot is dipped like that, or like that in the glaze. You've got to make sure there's no glaze stuck on the bottom, or else it'll stick to the kiln shelf.
Yes.
And it goes back into the kiln for its second firing, which is almost 1,300 degrees centigrade.
So the kiln, what do you call it? The kiln?
The kiln, yes.
The kiln is the oven then?
It's an oven, yes.
Yes.
It's a very, very hot oven. Too hot for pizzas, even. It's fired to a bright white hot at that point, and the glaze melts. The pot shrinks quite a bit. It shrinks in the drying out stage, and it shrinks in the final firing stage.
Yes.
A total of almost 16%. So it's quite a lot smaller by the time it comes out of the kiln.
So when it's the finished product, then what does it look like?
Well, this is one I made earlier, as I say. So this is a mug, and it's quite a good volume, good for a cup of tea, but it's relatively thin and nice handle to hold.
Yes.
So for me, it's all about the experience when you're using it, and I think it's actually quite interesting as a piece of art. It's something that every day you use for breakfast. You put your hands around it and you bring it to your lips to embrace it. So it's quite a personal experience drinking from a cup. And I always say, even if the cup is in the dishwasher, you have to go and dig it out and wash it by hand, because tea or coffee in the morning is just not right unless it's in your favourite mug.
Well, that's brilliant, Malcolm, and I'm sure the viewers here have learnt a lot today in seeing you at work on the wheel. So thanks very much, and God bless. So there you go, folks. That was fantastic, wasn't it? And there you can see the wee boathouse gallery up there, and it's art, crafts and gifts. And of course, this is right beside the Gents Causeway. So thanks for watching, and God bless.